When I'm in front of the classroom and when all the attention's on me, that's where I thrive. Every single day when my students come into class, I want to make them laugh at least once. It motivates me or it pushes me to be even more over the top to the point where these very cringy rap videos are able to be created because I know that they're enjoying them. So I remember growing up in Jurupa in the trailer park, and I remember always wanting to have a backyard. I love playing soccer. One thing that I would do is I would actually jump over into Mission Middle School, which was right next to my house, and play soccer there. I remember, growing up there, and I remember it being a rough neighborhood. And I feel like that helps me out a lot being a teacher now because I know that some of my students may also live in a rough neighborhood. And I owe a lot to the teachers here at Jurupa Unified because thanks to them, I was able to grow from being an English learner to being a college graduate.
So one of my favorite things he did is he took a lesson where we had used a lot of sight and sound in videos, and he added smell and touch. He added a fan to simulate the wind, and he used a air freshener to simulate walking through a fresh field. And just putting that little more touch on things we had done was really cool and really inspiring.
And then during the COVID shutdowns, that's when everything kind of changed for me. So some of my students, because of the shutdown, they emailed me and they said they wanted to keep learning. And they told me that I should make a YouTube channel. So there I was with different wigs and, dressed up as a Roman emperor, rapping about the Roman Empire and all these different things. And the students were really, really, really enjoying that. There aren't a lot of resources for dual immersion teachers. So there really was this big need for this content. So I decided, for me to be that person.
When I was in elementary, we had history in English actually, and everything else was in Spanish. So we kind of swapped everything in middle school. But being in Mr. Gomez's class, it was just amazing. It was so much fun, and he made it so much easier to learn history.
I think learning history in Spanish is pretty cool because you hear all these people's names in English and stuff. So learning it in Spanish is pretty cool too. It's okay, well yeah, this person Jorge Washington in La Guerra Civil or algo así. So you can kind of see oh yeah, I see how it connects to Spanish and how I'm able to talk about it, and it's easier to talk about with my family who only speaks Spanish too.
So I'll do almost anything to get my students engaged. So for example, if we're learning about the American Revolution, I might do something cringy like,
soy Jorge Washington, sí señor el mejor, aquí con mis soldados en Valley Forge.
sin zapatos, pero mucho valor, entrenando, sin ningún temor, recordando
Todo lo que pasó, masacre en Boston y Lexington.
I'd say Mr. Gomez's raps are extremely cringy. I will say that he did play them a lot during our lessons and stuff, and I feel like it was a really good way to make us learn and really be into the video.
the students when they get to the middle school level, they're actually able to take AP Spanish as 8th grade students. And I always tell my students how big of a deal that is for some of them to be able to be done with middle school and already have college credit. And it's a motivator for a lot of these students who maybe weren't gonna go to college, but now that they have some college credit already, it pushes them to then pursue that and be able to go to college.
When their test scores came in July, everybody was in a big old group chat celebrating yay, we passed, and what scores we got. And a lot of us did get the perfect 5 score.
And also growing up as an English learner, I know what it's like to not be able to get much help from your parents. I remember my mom, helping me out a ton with my homework, even though she didn't know how to speak the language. And, they were awesome parents. They taught me a lot of things. Quiero decirle gracias a mi mamá y a mi papá por todo ese sacrificio y trabajo. Y gracias a todo ese trabajo, yo puedo ser la persona que soy hoy. Y puedo recibir este premio gracias a todo lo que ustedes hicieron por mí.